there's two main bits in here, isn't there? So that there's the negative thoughts that you experience. So the negative things that go on in your head, the negative self-talk that you might experience. There's a way of managing or dealing with that. And basically, I'm going to break this into two bits. So I'm going to deal with the individual bit and then the how other respond bit. The individual bit. So if you experience a negative thought or a critical thought, don't get yourself into those situations where you go, I've got to try and be positive here. So I've seen so many people go, I'm feeling really rubbish, but I need to feel really good, or I need to feel really positive or really happy, or try and turn a negative into a positive. That it's not realistic. It's really hard to do, to go from negative to positive. Like I would the thing I found really, really useful is finding a neutral space. So what we term this is, you go, here's your negative thought. Okay, so you get yourself into a negative spiral, which is coach has shouted at me. I don't think I'm good enough. Teammates don't think I'm good enough. Therefore, I withdraw. So there's like a negative spiral there, isn't there? Another way is situate, and then the reverse would be, coach has shouted at me. I need to be super happy. Like you don't. Like find a neutral space in that. Find a space where you go, I'm feeling criticized, or I'm feeling quite critical, or a bit I'm doubting myself. What's a neutral thing? Well, a neutral space would be, I can try to get myself back on the ball. I can try to get myself in a decent position. I can try to control my breathing. I can try to, like, it basically gives yourself permission to go, look, I might be feeling a bit negative and I don't need to jump to the positive, but I'm going to try a few things that get me back to a middle spot. And if I do that consistently, that's going to take me to the happier spot. So rather than going from one to the other, you get yourself back to a neutral zone, which is the controllable aspects, those bits in that middle ground, the grounding techniques, the mindfulness, the breathing bits, all those bits. Bring yourself into that zone. Then suddenly, if you do that consistently, you build towards a pretty happier place, a more consistent pace. And that feels more achievable, I would say, rather than going negative thought, I need to be really positive. Which, how do you do that? You go negative thought, noticed it. What can I connect to? Which is, I'm going to connect to being more vocal. I'm going to connect to get myself back in position. I'm going to connect to speaking to a teammate, controllable action. If you do that consistently, you go, oh, I'm back in the game here. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling all right. I'm getting around it. I'm keeping things simple. I'm keeping things controlled. So again, you're shifting between places rather than going from one to the other. You're shifting between, which I think is a hopefully a containing way to see it, rather than oh no, I don't know if I can do that. It should feel quite containing. And the other thing I'd say is, from the words from other people, comparison is natural. So particularly within team sports, like you've got opposition, you've got teammates, you've got players potentially coming into your team from other teams and challenging your position. You've got players shifting between age groups. You've got you've got loads and loads of different things there around, like, comparison and what could be going on in those situations. So to be able to control the words that other people say is really, really challenging. But what you do have is a response to those words that come. Again, you can go to the one side where you go, I'm going to take it to heart. I'm going to feel really criticized. I'm going to feel really negative. Or you can go the other side, to be similar with the coach before. You can go, it's a perspective. I can hold it. Don't have to agree with it. People are going to have their views. It might be that there might be some comparison with other people, but that's part and parcel of team sports, because there's so many people involved in it. So you can see it as a perspective. And what's important is the way that I view. So the response part, which is the bit that you can control. Samuel here. So again, like, acknowledge that you're going to get this feedback. You're going to get critical thoughts. You're going to get critical views from other people, which is really hard to deal with at times. But be curious about it. Understand it. Ask where it's come from. Connect with people, because then what's going to do is go, you're someone that, rather than just goes and says, oh, I'm just going to withdraw, I'm just going to be frustrated, I'm going to become really negative, I'm going to be angry about it. You go, I get people are going to have different views, different perspectives. I want to try and understand. I don't have to agree with it, but I'm being curious to see your point of view. And then you can go into your performance to go, well, what do I need to work on? What do I think I need to listen to that people have told me that actually they've got a good point? And what things can I go to that I go, well, I also know I need to do this because I've thought about my performance myself, and these are the bits I need to work on. So you've got an option to agree, disagree, challenge, accept, whatever it might be. But the curiosity just gives you that space to go, well, people are going to have their opinion, and it's fine. But it's your response to those situations that is the key thing.